Is this recording? Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you about is the test for sugars. Okay, so we are going to talk about how to carry out the Benedict's test. Okay, so I've already talked you through how to do the test of proteins, lipids, and starch. So this is how we test for sugars. So you might be given the context of this question in describe how you would test a sample of bread for sugars. Okay, now bread would contain some simple sugars. It will contain some complex carbohydrates as well. Now those complex carbohydrates, starch, would not show a positive result for sugars. Okay, it won't give a positive result in the Benedict's test. Okay. So what we are looking for here are small sugars like maltose or glucose. Okay, so if you ever get a question on how to test for glucose, this is the test that we would carry out. Okay, now this test is a little bit more complicated, and because it's a little bit more complicated, it tends to come up on most papers, okay, as exam questions. Now you need to know how to do the method, and you need to know what a positive result is. Okay, so the test is called the Benedict's test. Okay, and we will start. Okay, with two test tubes. Okay, two test tubes here, and here we have some sugar. Okay, you might have a solid sample, say for example how we would test a biscuit for sugar. What you would do is you would crush your sample down if you have a solid sample, add it with water to make it into a solution, and then you would put that into your test tube, okay, or your boiling tube, either one. Okay, so I'm going to put some sucrose in one. Just going to put some water in the other. Okay. Two solutions here. I'm then going to add my Benedict's. Now Benedict's is bright blue, okay, because it does contain some copper sulfate in it. All right, so this is the colour that your solution is going to go as soon as you add it. Okay. You can see now that both of mine look exactly the same. They're the same colour. Okay, and if I just left it like this, nothing would happen. Okay, I can't just wait for a bit and expect it to change colour. I have to add something to it, and that something is heat. So I have to heat my Benedict's for at least 5 minutes. Okay, so I am going to do that now. Okay. You can say keep it on a rolling boil. So when we did this in lesson, we had a rolling kettle boil, okay, with our little kettle machines. Here, we won't have that. We're just going to have a boiled kettle to give it a little bit of a water bath. You could say heat it in a water bath for 5 minutes, but the temperature has to be quite high, hence why we're using boiling water. Okay. Okay, my water bath. Okay, I have my water bath here, which is going to heat my solutions. Okay, and I'm going to wait for 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I've left my glucose and my samples heating for 5 minutes, okay, in my water bath. Now they haven't had heat applied to it. If I did this with a Bunsen burner, it would go a little bit more quickly. However, I can see that I have had a colour change. Okay, so just dab those for a second. So this one is the one that had the glucose in it, and this was just water. Okay, from the tap. This has stayed blue, which is the same colour as your Benedict's reagent. Okay, this orange, okay, can't very clearly see that it is an orange. Putting it some. Okay, still got a bit of blue at the bottom, or bluey grey at the bottom, because it hasn't fully changed colour yet. If we left it for a little bit longer, it would all go orange or red. Okay, and that is a positive test for sugars. Okay, it will range anywhere from green to red. Okay, and that depends on the amount of sugar that is in your sample. Okay, so essentially you have to add Benedict's, you have to heat it for 5 minutes, and you have to then see if there is a colour change. Okay, so positive would be green to brick red, and negative would be blue. Okay.